Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming and joining us. The Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, when he came to our world, the first thing he taught us when he decided to teach a human realm, he said, life is suffering. That's the truth. That's one of the Four Noble Truths that cannot be changed. Life is suffering. Whether you like it or not, it's a lot of suffering. So ordinary people, what do ordinary people do? Our world is called the Saha world, meaning Saha is Sanskrit, that means can be endured. Meaning that the people here, the inhabitants here, are able to handle, to cope with the suffering. Okay, so they get conditioned to it. And we've been revolving this wheel of reincarnation time and time again, and because we're used to it. One lifetime, a prior lifetime, we came here, we endured the suffering, and we died, and I said, well, it's not too bad. I think I come back. That's what we did. That's what we've been doing. And that's what Alex has been doing as well. Now he came back, and he says, well, it's interesting. I think I'm getting better at this. I can figure it out. And that's what ordinary people do. They can endure it, and once the more they're able to endure it, the smarter they get. And they said, I can figure it out. I'll figure out a way to avoid this suffering. So ordinary people, that's what they do. They avoid suffering. They run away from suffering. Yes or no? When you're sick, you go to the hospital, and what do you say to the doctor? You say, take it, fix it for me. Take it away from me. Cut it off if you need to. That's what we all do. Isn't that amazing? We go crazy, and then they tell doctor says, here, take some pills. You forget about your troubles. How's that? Okay? So we always expect others to fix our problems for us, and we run away from our own problems. And that's where the Buddhism is different in that sense. In Buddhism is we first recognize the real nature of our existence is suffering. Why suffering? Suffering because this body of ours is for us to repay our karmic debts, like it or not. We're here because we owe. We owe our children. We owe our husbands. We own our wives. Something along that line. And you can switch the sexes as well. It depends. Nowadays, we don't know anymore who also. And so ordinary people's reaction is to run away and to avoid it. Whereas the Buddha says, if you do that, all that happens is that you keep revolving in the wheel of reincarnation. Okay? The fear of suffering, the avoidance of suffering only creates more causes for you to come back here, to continue to endure this mess. When are people going to wake up to that? Probably never. But we're here, and that's what makes us special, you special, and I mean it. Is that you learning to endure, not to run away from your own suffering. Because as Master YongHua said, as all the patriarchs, Chinese patriarchs taught us, to endure suffering is to end suffering. The corollary is that you run away from suffering, you will perpetuate it. It chases after you. It accrues interest. Sounds familiar? You don't pay off your mortgage, what happens? Okay, your final price gets higher and higher and higher. Yes? So when are you going to wake up to that? When are ordinary people going to wake up to this? Never, because they don't want to hear it. Because they can't take the suffering. And this is what makes Master Shua's Dharma so different from all the other monks I met, I learned from. He says, it's suffering. Hey man, it's suffering. Face it. Endure it. If you learn, you know how to endure it, you will put an end to it. This is what we're doing. So cut it out. Don't say, take it away from me. You say, give it, make me suffer more. Huh? Is that clear? That's what makes you special, because you are not afraid to endure suffering. You're not asking others to take it away from you, because you can handle it. And one day, we all know that, one day, Alex will figure it out. It's not about figuring it out, it's about enduring it, man. When are you going to wake up to that? Just endure it. Just do what you're told. The instructions are usually, endure it. Stop complaining. Take it like a man or woman. That's all. That's all there is to it. Endure more and more and more. There's a methodology behind it. It's not insanity. Yeah. We teach you to endure certain things only. That's the path to liberation, is to be smart about it. Know how to endure, what to endure. Instead of running away from it and complaining and complaining and complaining. I don't know any other way to end your suffering except to endure. And wish you luck. You think you can figure out a way to end your suffering without enduring it. And this is the truth. You're enduring it now. When you improve, when I announce you improve to the next level, guess what? You have to endure even more suffering, not less. And that's what Cheng is looking for. I'm going to look for a way so that I can endure less of my suffering. Good luck. It's not going to happen here. Okay? Face it. So stop being such a wimp. It's too much suffering. You inflicted so much suffering on others, making a living. We all do, not just you. I did too. That's what we do. We make a living by invariably creating a lot of suffering for others. We create offenses, we create karmas, and that's why you have to keep on coming back to pay it off. And that's what we do. The Buddha says, if it's suffering, endure it. There's a way to put an end to it, and suffering will accrue, it accumulates because we create offenses. It's called accumulation. But you know what? There's an end to all this. Okay, it's possible for you to rise above all this suffering. Okay, by enduring it. That's the way. And only in Buddhism will you find people are willing to be this brutal about this and be blunt about this and say, you have to endure it. There's no other way. Okay? Yeah. So endure more, a little more each time. That's all you have to do. We all have our limitations. You need to be smart and not bend it too much because the branch will break, your body will break. Okay, so be smart about it. Okay, just increase the dosage. That's all. Okay, and you'll get there. And we have a track record of Master Shenhua, this Weiyang Dharma here, this Mahayana teaching here. Has a proven track record of helping countless living beings in all over the universe, not just here in the Saha world. You know that. Buddha is not, he didn't just come here. Shakyamuni Buddha is somewhere else teaching now and telling the same thing. Take it like a man. Chen Chen. Okay? Don't be such a wimp. Yes, it's okay. If you can't take it, take a break. Go have fun. And come back and say, I'm ready to endure more. Huh? What have you got for me? And that's the attitude. Make sense? And that's what we call superior people. If you're willing to do that, you are a superior person. You have wisdom. Okay, and then so people live in a confused way. Their lives are very confused. They have no idea. When they have a problem, people are trying, take it away from me. I'm afraid of these problems. Cultivation is face the problems head on and learn how to fix it, how to overcome those problems. Okay, and one of the things I found interesting when I first was exposed to Chinese Buddhism is that everyone said Emitofuo for everything, for anything. You notice that? It's kind of weird. And so, in order, instead of saying I'm sorry, I say Emitofuo. Or you, instead of saying, oh my God, Emitofuo. And I remember the second patriarch calling me on the phone. We were I was at a novice and at the Long Beach Monastery. I drove the van, 15-passenger van, to Seattle for our summer break. And I was there. And the second patriarch called in and said, and talked, I don't remember anymore what it's about, it's all nonsense. And he says, tell Heng Chang, who is the guy in charge of, the monk in charge of the training program for the young novices, the kids. How come you guys don't answer phones? Emitofuo. I answer. Where is Heng Chang? I'm sorry, I don't know. Tell him I'm coming. I said, Emitofuo. You speak English? I say, Emitofuo. That's how we got started. That's how we first talked to each other. And the relationship went downhill from there. Anyway, so then I remember why I understand why the Chinese has this tradition, say Emitofuo and everything. We Americans say S-H-I-T, D-A-M-N, all those typical interjections. But the Chinese, Emitofuo. And why? There's wisdom behind it. It's so beautiful. Now that I'm doing this with you, I said, it's out of compassion. Why? Because it's a reminder, Emitofuo, reminder that if you can't handle it, Amitabha can. Isn't that beautiful? It's so compassionate. And the Chinese teach themselves, if you are in pain and suffering, you're in trouble, call one yin. Okay? That's what we train to do. But the better Buddhist disciples are taught Emitofuo, Emitofuo. Because Amitabha Buddha has the last word, has the last laugh. Think about it. It doesn't matter. What if people ask me, what if my daughter doesn't want to cultivate? My father doesn't believe in Buddhism. What do we do? Emitofuo. Remember that? Emitofuo. And that means, hey, Amitabha Buddha can help. And the Chinese don't even realize it. The depth of Chinese culture, the cleverness of the Chinese patriarch. They taught their own people, their own kind, Emitofuo. And guess what? Now they don't teach it anymore. Now they teach it like us, SHIT, DAMN, and other stuff. Okay? Because if people cannot handle it, if it's too hard for them, if they don't believe, okay, we still have the last laugh. We send them to the Pure Land. So the Buddha Dharma that we're practicing, what we would call American Pure Land or American Chan or whatever, all those names, are basically tools for you. Okay, if you have the blessings to cultivate, you can be trained to put an end to all suffering. Okay, and that's the quickest way for us is chant. Okay, of course you can also learn mantras, you can learn recite the Buddha's name, you can learn sutras and so forth. All those are also part of the overall picture called American chant. This is also chant to us. Why? Because right now you don't realize it, but when you get to higher level, after you become enlightened, then you realize two things. Number one, chant and Pure Land are one and the same. It's not different, just different path. Okay, but eventually when you get to the top, it merges. Top of the pyramid is only one point. It all comes to the same place. Chan, Pure Land, Tantra, it's all the same. So if your teachers tell you that I only teach Chan, I don't think much of Pure Land, or the teachers say I'm only Pure Land, I don't do Chan, I don't do mantras, I don't do sutras, I don't do precepts, because they're not there yet. You get up there, it's the same thing. It's no different whatsoever. There's no need to distinguish that I'm Catholic, I am Buddhist, I am Pure Land, I am whatever. It's all the same up here. That's number one. You find out. This is why when you listen to these teachers, and then I'm disappointed to hear that the patriarch says, I only do China, I don't do Pure Land. I say, what? What kind of patriarch are you? You only understand chant, you don't understand Pure Land. That's why you are not. That's a proof you're not quite up there yet. Facts don't lie. Okay, that's the number one. Whatever it is, you can put an end to your suffering. Okay, and there's so many paths, and if you reach a very, very top where suffering ends forever, and you're in position to help all living beings to end the sufferings. This is why we're doing this. We want to get up there so that we can help our daughters, our sons, our fathers, our mothers, our grandparents, our ancestors, how to put an end to all this. Okay? This is why we're doing this. Never forget that. Okay? Do we help ourselves? Let's go self-help so that we can eventually develop the skills to help others. If you only do this in order to help yourself, it's not a complete Mahayana. Okay? At first, you need to help yourself so that you are clear-headed enough so that when we tell you what to do, you say, okay, yeah, I can do that. Right now, I tell you to sit 10 hours a day. You know? So that's why, because there's a self that says, no, I can't do it. Okay? And so that's why part of the training is for you to learn to help yourself first, so that you can be taught more skills, can be helped to develop more skills to help others. It's a two-step, like the dance, a two-step. Wait, it's not the same, is it? Wait, I get confused sometimes. Anyway, forget that. And so you need so this we have this process in Mahayana where we want you to know that ultimately all this is in order for you to get up there. The end goal is get up there so that you can really help everyone, all living beings. This is our ambition. Don't think small. You think too small, that's all you're going to get. Small things, small mind, small heart. Okay? And that's for ourselves. Okay? And until then, what are we going to do with our loved ones? That's why you're here. You're here because you have so many emotional attachments. Yes or no? Too many emotional attachments. Emotions are beautiful, let's face it. That love thing, oh, wonderful. There's no denying, it's a wonderful thing. It's suffering, but it's still a wonderful thing. Yes, sir, in the back.
Master, still a boyfriend who do what I said, not come true yet.
It hasn't come true yet? Maybe you don't have to suffer yet. It's always a flip side to everything. So, where was I again? How do you get the boyfriend who listens to you? So, for the people we love and the people that cannot wait for us to become a Buddha before we can help them, what can we do? Help them get to the Pure Land. That's why this Pure Land Dharma door. So we learn one thing, okay? One thing is that Chan or Buddhism is a way for you to learn how to end your suffering, and that's a constant. You have to do it yourself. No one else can do it for you. Okay? And the other thing is that if they're for the people that you care for, love, who cannot help themselves, who don't believe, and so forth, that's what the Pure Land Buddhism is about. It's others' help. You ask the Buddha's help. That's why Emitofuo Buddha says, he says, I don't care, just call me. If you're in trouble, Emitofuo. If you're surprised, Emitofuo. If you're disappointed, Emitofuo. Okay? Because I'm here to help you. He's very compassionate. Actually, he's even more compassionate than One Yin Bodhisattva. I'm now beginning to criticize One Yin Bodhisattva. I have a big mouth, just remember that, and you forgive me. Yes?
Master, I love hearing you talk about us asking Emitofuo for help, Amitabha Buddha, because I think Wan Yin gets called on all the time.
Yeah, Wan Yin said, hey, give me a break, man.
And I think she could probably use the help.
Yeah, she can use the help, absolutely. That's why she restricted herself to only call me when you're in trouble. Okay? But Amitabha said, but I'm willing to help even when you're not in trouble. Who's more compassionate? Let's think about it, huh? So my point here is that I have all due respect and admiration for Wan Yin Bodhisattva, and please help me, save me. But Amitabha Buddha is the answer for those who do not cultivate, because remember, ordinary people, they don't want to face the problems. Therefore, they want to defer, delay it. And that's why the Pure Land Dharma door is perfect for such people. You know, they need to think, they need to be taught that after this life goes on. Life takes on different form, but still continues. It's not the end. When are people going to realize that? It's weird. And so I started by telling you, when you cultivate, you start first by learning that you should become enlightened and so forth. Okay, and later on, okay, when you become enlightened, you reach high level, then you realize that the Pure Land Dharma door is also very advanced. It's a very good form of Chan as well. Okay, not just for others, but for yourself as well. So this Dharma door we're practicing is very, very special, very, very advanced. Okay, a lot more advanced, you realize, a lot more advanced than the Asians transmitted it to themselves. All right, but I'm hoping that I'm very pleased to see that as more people are joining the Fochis and so forth. Let me tell you, the first few years are so pitiful. Every Fochi is like a few people. And we continue. We continue the practice. And now I see more people coming to join the Fochi. It seems like a lot of people are appreciating this reciting Buddha's name Dharma door and getting some real benefits out of it. Okay, and I'm hoping that that in the future that we can continue to make this Pure Land Dharma door available to help even more and more people. Okay, by you. Taking on a burden of helping people get to the Pure Land. Because to me, Pure Land Buddhism is very straightforward. It's not promises, it's not false promises like the Asians like to do. Okay, it's for the people with inadequate blessings. So all we can tell them is that, hey, just recite Buddha's name, you will be reborn to the Western Bliss Pure Land. Much further down the road. Okay, and for me personally, it's too far away. I need to see something more concrete, like the end of this life. Okay, and that's our approach. I'm hoping that more and more of you can step up, and at least one of you will be able to continue to do this, so that after I retire, I'm done. Then, Ours will be like a station for people who can make it to the station and board the train to go to the Pure Land. That, to me, that's the best way to praise the Amitabha Buddha and show our gratitude and show our appreciation for his compassion. He says, I know you're suffering, so think of me, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. Whether you're here right now, or when you're in trouble, when you're surprised, when you're disappointed, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. I'm here. I can help. And this Pure Land Dharma door here has a vast, extensive network to ferry people. That's how it works. A lot of bodhisattvas are out here in the Saha world and in other worlds, to lead people to these stations, where people then can board the train and the ark and go to the Pure Land. I mean, in the Catholics, I would not be surprised if some of them, there's some obscure places there where they can go to the Pure Land too. We don't discriminate, We embrace everyone. We don't say, hey, you have to be Buddhist, otherwise, before we can help you, And the compassion of Amitabha Buddha is universal. He said, I will embrace you all. When you need me, you believe me, you can go to the Pure Land. You cannot go on your own, others can help you. Plenty of my disciples can help you. So I challenge you, yes?
Master, I was just going to say that my uncle passed away a couple of years ago, and you helped him get to the Pure Land, and he's a devout Catholic.
Emitofuo.
I want to thank you. Emitofuo to you too, Master.
Okay, all right. And so let's continue to study Master Hsuan-Hua's Amitabha Buddha teaching. Yes, number 4?
I'm just curious, what happened to the miscarriage baby, and what is the cause and effect for that?
Miscarriage, when you have a miscarriage, usually the baby is drawn to you because of some karmic conditions, some attachments. That's why they're drawn to you in the first place, and when there's a miscarriage, hey, dude. That's what I say when I forgot the names. I'm kidding, Andres. I want to give him a hard time, that's all. So they're drawn to you. The conception happens because of there's an attraction, an attachment. So once the conception occurred, the attachment is reinforced, is stronger. So when you have a miscarriage, the baby is still attached to you. It's very difficult for the baby to escape and move on. So they stick around you, usually. And the Westerners don't realize that, it's just some bad thing. But if I were the Buddhist, I would go to the temple and get the 49-day thing to help the baby. Because you don't, they will stick around you, and they will suffer greatly.
I find out my mom have 2 miscarriages, and one is my older sister and one is my younger brother. So
need
when my
help.
mom passed away, so what happened?
They need help. They still need help
Yes.
because they cannot escape on their own. This is why Amitabha Buddha is so compassionate. He says, I'm here, and you manage to come to my Buddha land, you will never suffer ever again. Never, ever. Okay? And it's difficult for you to get there, therefore I have a lot of experience to help you get there. Okay? Meaning that if you're skilled enough, you can do it on your own by reciting my Buddha's name, my name, or if you are not good enough, you don't have the means, the skills, then others can do it on your behalf. And he makes it so that this particular Pure Land Dharma door we're teaching here in this world is the most effective way for us to get to his land. Okay, so in your mom's case, the babies need help. And this is what people don't realize. There's more and more suffering in the world because these sufferings are compounded. And these beings are not liberated. They're here in our world, causing problems. Okay? Yes, sir. Number 9.
Thank you, Master. When we are reciting the sutra, it says, if a good man or good woman recite Amitabha's name, but what exactly does a good man or good woman is? Thank you, Master.
Okay. 善男子,善女人. It's a person who has a good heart, who's bent on doing good. And that's why you're here. In order for you to be here, that's what the Buddha Sutra says, okay? Just don't quote me. The Sutra says, if a good man and good woman recite my name, okay, with one mind unconfused, whether it's 1 day, 2 or up to 7 days, you will attain rebirth to his Pure Land. Okay, so that's what the sutra says, meaning that in order for you to be able to make it, your mind has to be good when you recite. You don't have to be a good man. You can be like Putin or something. Is Putin a good man? I don't think so. But when you recite the Buddha's name, you have to be in the mind frame of goodness. Because if you recite mantra, you recite the Buddha's name, you meditate, and you have not a good frame of mind, you will not get very far. This is the misconception about all these Buddhist practices and non-Buddhist practices. They teach you about this particular pose in yoga, for example. I remember I used a girl who comes here and stand on 1 foot during the lecture. I mean during the evening recitation. I walked in and say what? How come we have one-legged disciple? And so people learn of the world, learn about these things, these practice these methods, and their teachers don't teach them that all those things don't work unless you have a good heart. Your heart is not good, you can't go very far. Okay, and so that's what it says. A good man, good woman, when you practice the yogas, the qigongs, and the tai chis and so forth, your heart has to be good. If you do that, some tai chi teachers are enlightened. Okay? Because they practice all that with the goodness of the heart. And I don't want you to rush over to Tai Chi. I want to learn Tai Chi, And now Master says you can become enlightened doing Tai Chi. Yes, you can become enlightened doing Tai Chi. And from what I heard of the stories, some of the Qigong teachers and Tai Chi teachers who are certain ways, those people are enlightened. Okay? Or some popes who behave a certain way, and they're enlightened, and so forth. But in Buddhism, we still have the best training techniques. It's the fastest, most powerful, and much broader spectrum of tools you can use, skills you can use. Because in Buddhism, we become Buddhists because we make a vow. We said, I vow to learn the countless Dharma doors so that I can save countless living beings. Okay, that's us. Okay, but all those practices are predicated upon the foundation of a good heart. So part of our training too. That's what people don't realize. People come here and say, I love your evening ceremony. I love your morning ceremony. It really invigorates me. I hate getting up at 4 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. But after I get used to it, my God, I have so much energy during the day after this morning ceremony. Or people come and attend the evening ceremony. And I don't know why the Koreans only do lunch ceremony. I don't get it. Could somebody explain to me why the Koreans only put so much emphasis on lunch offerings? What's the tradition behind it? I don't get it. But evening ceremony is an act of compassion. You do it because you help relieve pain and suffering on the ghosts. And do you help them receive blessings to go to the Pure Land. It's a beautiful act of compassion. Lunch, I don't know. I'm too hungry to stand there for 20 minutes. But anyway, so all these things are beautiful, but and the Chinese somehow managed this. Bodhisattvas somehow went to China, decided to go to China, not Vietnam, not Korea, okay, not Japan, not Malaysia. Yeah. They chose to go to China and invented, created this beautiful, beautiful Chinese ceremony that no one else has. You go to Japan, you do ceremony from beginning to end. I don't know how people can stay awake. Or Korea, right? Korea, same thing, right? You're reciting. The Chinese is like melodious. It has music. It has Dharma instrument. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And yet, at the same time, it helps you develop your samadhi power. That's why it's so ingenious. Yes, 7.
Emitofuo, Master.
Emitofuo.
I have a question about the vow to take rebirth in the Pure Land that we do as part of our ceremony. When I was younger, I took basically a vow to take Jesus into my heart. And sometimes when I do the Buddhist vows, I hope they take them with more sincerity than I did before, because obviously I made a switch. And I was wondering, how do I, think about that now, and how do I understand the vows that I'm taking currently?
Sao Chu, you explain to him. They're going to ask you that. They're going to ask you. You're going to teach. They're going to ask you all sort of weird questions. See the Sunim. And that's what's beautiful about the Westerners. They ask about anything and everything. What is it, Chinese and Korean?
저의 경우는 서원을 세우는 거를 이제 승가에 들어와서 많은 어른 스님들이나 조사 스님들께서 수행을 하시기 전에 항상 서원을 세웠다는 것을 보면서 어떻게 세웠는지를 먼저 쭉 살펴봤고, 그래서 먼저 삼보에 귀의하고 그 다음에 자기의 죄업을 모두 참회한 다음 그 다음에 이제 큰 서원들을 세워놓는데, 제가 감히 지금 할 수 없을 것 같아 보여도 그것을 서원으로 세워놓고서 저의 목적으로 삼아야겠다라는 마음을 품기 시작을 하면은 그것이 언젠가는 이루어질 거라는 생각을 하면서 서원을 세웠던 것 같습니다.
In my case, making a vow, when I joined the Sangha, I look up to seniors and patriarchs, and I observe them, how they make their vows. And I look at the triple jewels, and I repent all my sins, and then try to make a great vow. Even if I can't do it at this time, one day those vows will come true. With that mind, I made great vows.
Not bad. I expect her to say, I don't know. Sang-wook, your turn. How are you going to save your master? You vow to save all living beings, that includes your master. How are you going to save her?
I don't know.
Yes, Lily. Lily has an idea. Give her a microphone, please.
네, 제 생각이에요, 마스터. 그런데 모든 건 변합니다. 저희가 모든 세월이 가면은 다 변하고, 또 세월이 가면은 모든 사람도 죽고 또 살아나고 또 태어나고. 근데 지금 얘기하신 분 성함이 어떻게 되시는지 모르지만 저분께서는 과거사에 예수님을 모셨다고 그러셨잖아요. 근데 지금은 어떻게 마음을 가져야 되나, 불교로 왔기 때문에 그거를 이제 고민하시는 것 같은데, 인연이 다 변하기 때문에 인연 따라서 오셨어요. 그렇기 때문에 지금은 부처님하고 한마음 하면서 아미타불 하시면 될 것 같은 제 생각입니다.
Master, this is my own thought. I believe everything changes. Time pass by, more things change. People die and people born. And Alex, he told us that he accepted Jesus before. Now things change. Now he came to the Buddhism. That means the affinity changed. Now what he could do is just become one with Emitofuo.
Clever. Very good. You know what's impressive is that she speaks nonsense and it sounds so convincing. It's so beautiful. Before she said, no, talk. Now I hate to see how she's like at home. Her husband says, "Why are you so talkative nowadays? What happened to you?" Yes, Daniel on the back.
I have just a quick question for Lily because I'm very curious. So let's say that, or even for anyone actually, if you make a vow to save all living beings as a Buddhist, and then you change your opinion or your belief over time, maybe because you changed to, I don't know, Christianity.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the vows that he made before are no longer valid?
New can of worms. I have an answer for both. Would you like to hear it? Huh? I'm very fast. I'm on a one-liner, okay? The answer is that you change again. Don't worry, you change again. Knowing Alex. Yes, 8.
From Snow U, hello Master. I don't have a good relationship with my parents due to years of traumatic experience. I don't talk to them often. Even thinking about them will give me stomach pain. I know one day I have to reconcile with them and take care of them when they are very old or sick. I just don't know how yet. I hope with cultivation, some solutions will come up one day. Do you have any suggestions for me?
You will find a solution. As long as you don't quit, you will find a solution. Okay? Now, yes. 2.
Master, I also have a quick question. If someone wanna send his past relative to the Pure Land, and this relative already rebirths as a human being, what would happen to this, maybe a new baby? If this effective, will this shorten his this new baby's lifespan? Or what would happen if he rebirths in the heaven or the hell path? Maybe he will go immediately. But what about a human being? Will this cause another miserable to another family?
Yes. It's a very good question, which is no good answer. We don't have all the answer. Who do you think we are? Good Lord. It reminds me of, wow, look at that, the fancy camera work. Now Shannon is on YouTube. See?
Master, only in the temple.
Only in the temple? Wow. Oh, wow. Now I know where my money goes. They presented a bill last month. Say what? Anyway. Too many questions. I lost track of which one I'm supposed to answer. Okay. Answer the last one first because it's a good question. If you don't get help within the 49 days, you take on the next body, meaning that you committed to paying off the karmic debts to a certain set of living beings. Okay, could be people, could be ghosts, could be gods, and so forth. Which reminds me of my late father's case. Okay, you knew, many of you knew. So can I tell you the story? It's kind of funny. Okay. My late father was a disciple of Master YongHua. He was a disciple of Thich Nhat Hanh, and Thich Nhat Hanh loved him. So he said, I give you a prediction. You can become a monk under me at any time and so forth. My father, it sounds good. But for years, he would not become a monk. And then he saw Master YongHua chastise and ridicule and made one of his Vietnamese disciples look very bad in front of everyone. My dad said, I can't take this. How can you make a Vietnamese monk look so bad? Okay, what a kind of cruel monk is this? He didn't say it, but he said, oh, what kind of teacher is this? And then a few years later, he became a monk, okay, under Master YongHua. There's a reason for it, but that's not get sidetracked. I was the reason for it. But anyway, so as a monk, and we all have this curiosity. He says, we told that the heavenly girls up there, the demon girls are very, very beautiful. At least I have that curiosity. So I like to go up there and take a look. What's the hurry, hey? And that's what he did. After he died, he went up there and took a look. Until he became established. And very happy. He's in the sixth desire. He was in sixth desire heaven, and he would frequently come to visit my friends, come to my temple, Blue Mountain Temple, attend a lecture, listen to a lecture, and so forth. And he was having a good time. Okay, he was so happy. Okay, until his wife heard of it. He says, I can't have this. A monk is not supposed to be up there in the heavens for demons. So she said, I want you to make him go to the Pure Land. A little bit of that, I imagine. And so I said, okay, so what's in it for me? Not quite like that. But I said, yeah, it can be done. It can be done. But so she says, I tell you what, I give you Blue Mountain Temple. Just make him go. Speaking of jealousy, you know? Quickly, she said. Now, back then, Blue Mountain Temple is worth like a few hundred, let me see, $400,000. This is way back then. Okay, now it's worth more, I think. Waste that money, God. Anyway, so I said, that temple there is worth $400,000. And so what do you intend to do with the difference? Okay? She says, well, send everyone at my temple all the rebirth flags of the Pure Land. What's left? Okay, make him go quicker. So I said, okay. So I said, okay, I agree. I will help him go to the Pure Land as quickly as possible. And I found out that he wasn't willing. He wasn't willing at all. He says, I'm happy. I'm very happy. He has so many beautiful wives, so what's the hurry? One bickering ex-wife and many beautiful wives. And that's a problem. You have to resolve that problem. He's not willing to go. So what I did is I started ridiculing him. It took me about a year and a half after I got started. It took me a year and a half ridiculing him the first chance I got. Every time I lecture, I said, my father, he's very happy right now. He may be exercised for Master YongHua and vowing to save all living beings, become enlightened, and so forth. But right now, he's taking a break. He's on vacation. And you know what? I'm so happy you're all here because I know, because of his temple. He used to lecture at that temple. So I know all of you practice under him and adore him. I want you to know he's very happy right now. He doesn't even miss you. And so I ridicule him. I said, I hope that it won't happen to me in the future. I too, when I die, I'd love to go take a look. So after a year and a half, he couldn't take it anymore. I said, I'm going, okay. So he left. He went to the Pure Land. And he's happier. And we're doing this because it's better for them, not because it's for us. Not for $400,000. Come on. It's worth a lot more than that. So my point here is that in order for them to go, they need to resolve the karmic debts before they can go. So once you take on a new body, it takes a while to resolve it. In Buddhism, after you die, you have a beautiful window for 49 days that it's ideal for you to go before you commit to new karmic debts. Okay, you only have to resolve the existing karmic debts. They're trying to pull you down. Okay, and so that itself, has issues because the time is not enough. 49 days is a very short period. Plus the way the Asians do it, it's not very efficient. They only start the process after people die, not before, which is a big mistake. Okay, so the karmic debts has to be resolved, and once they're resolved, they can go. It's possible, and it takes a while. It takes a lot longer than 49 days, but it's possible. Okay. And as far as the original question, I made these vows here, and I switched from believing in God to believing in Buddha, and I said, yeah, and we will continue to switch again. Okay, and that's life. What's the big deal? What happens is, it's not about switching, it's about what we're teaching you. What we're teaching you is a particular style of practice, a form of practice called making vows. When you make vows like that, of course you don't know what you're talking about. What is vows? I vow to save all living beings. Is it really possible to save all living beings? The answer is no. Truth is no, it's not possible. No one can save all living beings, including Buddhas. Just checking. Going where no man has gone before. Yes, Andres.
Master Sixth Patriarch Dharma says that it says basically we all have the prajna nature. So doesn't that mean all beings are already saved?
Does that include you?
I feel that my Bodhi nature is right there, but I'm just covering it up so much.
You hope so, you mean?
Well, the sixth.
You have no proof.
according to sixth patriarch, I mean, I think we can agree that sixth patriarch is probably right about what he's saying. So doesn't that mean that every being has that already? So.
Can I quote myself recently? Somebody gave me some money and said, "You short? You shortchanged me." I said, "No," he said, "I didn't." I said, "You short?" He said, so I got fed up and said, "You dare question me?" I was wrong, of course. I looked at the wrong pocket. But anyway, you dare question me?
It's not an attack on you, Master.
It sounds like it.
No.
It's hard for my devoted Korean disciples. I want you to know that.
Yeah, it's just the more I think, I contemplate and think about this question, it feels like there's no point in saving the beings because they already have that Buddha nature inside of them.
So all this for naught, all this Buddha's name recitation. This is why you don't even bother coming to recite the Buddha's name?
No, I have.
Let's turn the light on you for a change.
No, Master, I don't come because I have karmic obstructions.
Such as?
I'm doing other things.
Such as?
I'll come different. I'll come soon.
I
Tomorrow.
hope you feel guilty, unlike Sangwok who has no guilt at all. Okay, never mind. We get sidetracked. You see, so many problems. I look at everyone, I see problems. No, it's not that. It's when you make a vow, it's about doing the impossible. And yet you're undaunted. And that's how you make your mind become limitless. Because right now it doesn't make sense to you because your thinking mind still has limits. And you keep on, as the more you think about it, the more it doesn't make sense. It's impossible. I just explained to you, I appeal to your thinking mind. It's not possible for you to save all living beings. You agree immediately. See? But you still make the vow because that vow will help us become free of our thinking mind. Until your thinking mind comes to an end, you will not be able to carry these, accomplish big things with your lives. Okay? That's why. That's why we make these vows are really nonsense when you think about them factually, realistically. That's not possible to save all living beings. If that were the case, why are there still Buddhas trying to teach us? It will never end. Okay? But that's why we're doing it. We're doing this because we are no longer bound by the concept of time. No longer bound by numbers. I read the news, I'm chuckle at people counting how rich Elon is, how many $100 billion he has and so forth. But that's so small. It's only impressive for people who think small. Okay? So that's what it is. Your mind cannot become boundless unless you have a good heart. That's a foundation. So that's what happens with the spiritual practices. If you don't lay out the proper foundation for goodness from the very beginning, you cannot go boundless. That's not possible. That's why the word a good man, a good woman. Yes, your heart has to be good, has to be dedicated, committed to goodness. That's why you're doing this. You're good to yourself, and then you're good to others later. So, for example, Asian women, I grew up in my generation. My mother says, I want to sacrifice myself for my family, my husband, and so forth. Lily, sounds familiar? Huh? You're not good to yourself. You can't make it. You have to be good to yourself. In order to be good to others, eventually. Okay? Did we answer all the questions? Yes, number 6.
Master, on the topic of 49 days, you long time ago talked about your Taoist friend Calvin, who was fifth Samadhi, who died, and then his family requested 49 days with the Vietnamese temple. The monk was a Chu Diana monk. You said that monk was obstructing him when he was on his way to the heaven. So my question is it really possible for that to happen for people who are like 5 Samadhi so high, when the families request 49 days with other monks who are lower, they could obstruct it instead of helping and creating merit for that person?
I don't know. It's none of my business. What do I care? Whatever happened to him, happened to him. It's whatever happened at all the temples, I rather not comment. Okay, because I believe that all the temples are there for a reason. They're serving an important purpose. So I hope people don't get me wrong when I make comments, is in order to teach my students, my disciples. I'm not jealous, I'm not afraid of the competition, or worried about the competition, worried about not getting enough donations and offerings and so forth, worried that you're going to quit me. You quit your last temple already, and feel free to quit again. It's okay. Okay? Life goes on. But in general, the 49-day thing, the Buddhist thing, is a good thing. If you go to a temple, have it requested done, is a very, very good thing. I hope that is a proud Buddhist tradition that we should share with the world, even though that particular temple may not help him go to the Pure Land, okay? But it will in the future. So the seeds are there. So that's why the Buddhist practices of beliefs and the practice of 49 days is something that I feel that should be cherished in all cultures and should be encouraged. I have no problem with people go to a Hinayana temple and request a 49-day service and they recite Amitabha Buddha Sutra. It's perfect. It helps. Every little bit helps. Okay? But whether they stop him or inhibit him or not, it's beyond the kind of discussion I want to engage in. I'd stay positive and say it's helpful. Every little bit helps, trust me. Buddha's Dharma is very compassionate. It doesn't say you must go to a certain temple. I encourage people to go to the temples to get help, because not everyone can make it. Okay? That's all they can get to, which is a great, vast improvement already. Yes, Daniel.
I have a question. As I understand, does every living being will end up in the Pure Land, or after lifetime, will they still end up at the end point as Buddhahood?
They go to the Pure Land because they can end all sufferings and receive protection and guidance for their spiritual practices. Okay, so such people, for example, there's some people who are really suitable for the Pure Land, excellent candidates, such as the people who don't cultivate. Anyone who does not cultivate should go to the Pure Land. Should be encouraged to go to the Pure Land. And if they don't believe it, we can send them to the Pure Land as well. That's why Amitabha Buddha's Dharma door is so powerful. We can make them go. We can convince them. Right now they're alive, they don't believe, they don't buy into it, but after they die, it's a different ball game, totally different ball game. It's much easier to convince them. Okay, right now, you say, I believe in God. But after you die, trust me, it's going to be a different thing. After you die, God doesn't even come to the picture at all because you have bigger problems you have to face. That praying to God may not be helpful. You could try, and I know you don't believe me, but after you die and you pray to God, He says, hey, good luck to you. I mean well, okay? Thanks for the good thanks for the memories. Well, that's okay. I mean, each one of us serves a purpose in this life. Okay, this is why we have the Saha world. Okay, Mahayana will embrace everyone. We don't, we accept you who you are, and so it's okay. Yes, number 5.
Thưa Thầy, con muốn xin phép Thầy hỏi mà trường hợp của con như cái chân con bị giải phẫu mà có gắn con ốc ngay chỗ này, con không có thể quỳ để dự lễ được. Lúc mà lại Phật á, con có bị phạm gì không Thầy? Con đứng con lại không không có quỳ được. Lúc con làm lễ á, thì mọi người đều quỳ hết, mà chỉ có vì con bị giải phẫu, con có gắn cái đồ ngay cái chỗ đầu gối á, con không có quỳ xuống được. Nhưng mà con vẫn khỏe đi đứng bình thường, mà chỉ có cái cục ốc đó nó làm cho con không có quỳ xuống được. Rồi con lúc dự lễ như vậy con đứng lại có bị phạm gì không Thầy?
Emitofuo Master, I would like to ask you, in my particular case, my knees has been in surgery. So then there was several screws that screw into my kneecaps and joints. So therefore I cannot kneel. So during the ceremony, almost everybody kneel down. However, I cannot do so because of the screw that stuck into my knees. When doing so, if I were to stand instead of bowing during the ceremony, do I commit any offenses?
Answer is no. When you cultivate with and you accord with conditions. You cultivate with what you have. So right now you have a nut there. Is it a bolt? A bolt? Bolt and nut and bolt. It's a bolt, right? Okay. There's a screw. Not just a bolt, a screw. It has a head. It protrudes out, so you cannot kneel on that. It's understandable, and therefore you cannot kneel. It's okay. You don't have to kneel. For example, for her case, your neighbor there, she has a hard time kneeling herself. Okay, and it's perfectly okay. Okay, both of you go to the hells after.
A Di Đà Phật, thưa thầy, con xin hỏi thêm một câu là trường hợp như con bây giờ con không có thể ngồi kiết già được, con chỉ ngồi bán già, tức là chéo chỉ một chân thôi, thì trường hợp con dự lễ ở đây đó, rồi con ngồi kiết già vậy thì con ngồi trong phòng tốt hay là con lên trên chánh điện ngồi tốt?
Yeah, translation.
Emitofuo, Master, I have another question. Also, in my case, I cannot sit in full lotus. I can only sit in half lotus. Is it better for me to sit in my room or sit with the assembly?
In your case, it's more fun for us to see you sit there and being and suffer. And feel so much better about ourselves. Sissy Chen says, "Oh, my case is not so bad. Look at her. I got it made. What am I complaining about? Look at her. She used to be able to sit in full lotus for a long, long time. And she's, in the Arhat range already as well, And look at where she is right now. What's the big deal? So anyway, you should join the assembly and don't the cultivation. You try your best. You don't have to worry about what others think. Okay. And in your particular case, I'm very sorry it happened to you. It's called karmic obstructions. Okay? And this is a lesson for all of us. You can never assume anything. You can never take anything for granted. Doesn't matter how high you get, the obstruction becomes stronger. That's how scary it is. Okay? That's why you have to be humble. The obstruction at low levels are less severe, but as you get higher where you are right now, it's so severe that they put you out of commission for the entire year. Think about it. And it's designed to help you, to make you quit. I was expecting you to quit. That's why I didn't call you, I didn't ask anything. I said, okay, she'll be gone. And then the old monk, of all the people, the old monk who's stationed in San Francisco came down here for whatever he's doing. And he says, what happened to her? I said, I don't know. He said, I'm going to go see her. So that's the first time that we reached out to her. That's how tough we are. It's to remind you the obstructions are that severe and that heavy. All of you, be careful. Do not assume. Take anything for granted. Okay? Be humble. They will come and confuse you and pull you out. A lesson for all of us. We never take anything for granted. Just like that. All of a sudden, she walked, fell, broke her knees. Okay? Real silly reasons. This is in California. We're not talking about in the winter time in Quebec or where we was ground slippery. She used to slip in front of her own house. Right? So scary. And you think, and to the point where it shattered her knee. And now she couldn't even cross her legs. Are they going to plan to remove the screw eventually, or it's going to be there forever?
Dạ, A Di Đà Phật. Thưa thầy, ông bác sĩ người Mỹ tên là Elite, ổng có nói với con là nếu trường hợp mà mùa đông mà thường những người bị mổ á, mùa đông hay bị nhức đau á, thì trường hợp nếu khi nào mà bị đau quá thì có thể là cho ông biết, ông sẽ có thể lấy cái đó ra được. Nhưng mà con hỏi như vậy là phải mổ thêm một lần để lấy hả? Đúng rồi, phải mổ mới lấy ra được. Cái con nói thôi con không dám, thôi khỏi đâu, khỏi. Con chịu đau được, con không có bây giờ thì con không có đau lắm, không có đau, hết đau rồi. Mà chừng nào khi nào mà đau quá thì chắc con phải chịu, chứ con không muốn lấy mổ thêm một lần đâu, con sợ mổ quá. Ổng nói mổ thì phải cắt. Thì cô y tá của ổng mới giải thích, sợ con không hiểu tiếng Anh nhiều á, cho nên cổ có giải thích, cổ người Việt, cổ giải thích là với con là thì khi mổ thì phải cắt cái lớp da xong tới lớp mỡ, cổ diễn tả làm con sợ thêm nữa. Lớp mỡ tới lớp thịt rồi mới tới thấy được cái xương ở dưới mới là lấy cái đó ra. Rồi trở lại thì con nghe con còn nói không, con thì con sợ nhất là cái trở lại rồi cái phải may lại giá lại rồi cái phải ở thêm thời gian ở nhà, đi lái xe lăn ở nhà nữa. Thành ra con nói con nghĩ con chịu được. Con nói không, chắc con không lấy đâu. Nhưng mà nếu con không lấy thì con chắc không bao giờ quỳ được. Con không biết phải không.
Cô chờ một chút. Rồi, quá nhiều con phải thông dịch lại. Emitofuo, Master. I have a doctor, American doctor. His name is Alex. He told me that in my case, during the winter, a lot of people who had surgery before is very painful. So he understands that. Therefore, he asked me if it is too painful and unbearable, he can perform another surgery and take those screws away from me. However, I was really scared to have another surgery, and part of the reason is the nurse explained it to me that in order to perform surgery, they have to cut through my skin, my fat, and then my flesh. Then eventually will get into my bone. So when I heard about it, I was afraid. So I don't want it to perform another surgery unless it is too excruciating, painful. Then I will do so. However, in order to heal again, I have to go through the process of having to sit in the wheelchair and wait for a while. But then I was thinking, if I were not to have a surgery, then I won't be able to sit and cross my legs and kneel again. So I don't know about that. What to do about it?
Five.
Alo, mô Phật Thầy, giúp con suy nghĩ cái này lấy ra không được đâu. Tại hồi xưa 17 năm trước, cặp chân của con trước sau 1 năm là mổ hết 2 chân. Nhưng mà hồi đó bác sĩ đã nói với con là không có quỳ được, chấp nhận không có quỳ được. Tại vì đau quá chịu không nổi, con phải mổ thôi. Đau tới mà đi không được, không mổ được cũng được đâu. Sau này mổ này không đau, nhưng mà nói không có quỳ được. Cái con cũng chấp nhận. Nhưng mà cái trường hợp này nhiều người mới có tới 10 năm mà họ phải đau quá, họ phải thai nữa, phải mổ làm mới nữa, cũng phải giống ốc như thường. Nhưng mà cho tôi nói mô Phật gắng cho con suốt đời này lần thôi, đừng có lần mổ lần thứ hai, tôi con sợ lắm rồi. Cái tới giờ kéo dài 16-17 năm không có gì. Có khi nhiều lúc mùa đông nó cũng hơi đau, nhưng mà chịu khó trà dầu rồi sáng thuốc dán đồ đó thì nó đỡ vậy thôi. Phải chịu thôi Thầy ơi, cái này nghiệp mình phải trả. Mô Phật Thầy.
Emitofuo, Master, I have thought about this problem already. This is very painful because to me, my case personally, 17 years ago, I also have 2 of my knees surgery and having the screw similar to her. But the doctor told me that I have to accept that I won't be able to kneel. However, I have a very excruciating pain to the point that I have to perform surgery if then I would not be able to feel that pain, that painful. In my case, in her case, even if she taking out the screw, 10 years later, it will be painful again, and she will have another surgery to re-screw that into her bone. Therefore, seeing all of those, I felt like it's gonna be painful. I don't wanna have another surgery. I pray to the Buddha that I won't have surgery again. Of course, in winter, it is very painful. You have to accept that. You have to put some pad on or medical oil to ease out, soothe out the pain. But you have to take it because that is part of your karmic retribution.
Yeah, you try your best, that's all. You have to bear with it, endure it. That's part of cultivation. Okay, remember, cultivation is to endure. Okay? That's all. If that's what all you can do, that's what you do. 8, is there a question? Go ahead.
Daniel from Canada. What is the difference, or is there a difference between someone whom has no children and becomes a monk or nun versus a person whom has children and becomes a monk or nun?
Is there a difference? Well, a monk or nun doesn't matter. When you become a monk or nun, you basically are 离家, mean you leave the home life, and therefore it doesn't matter if you have no children or you have children. Doesn't matter at all. You just sever the attachment to the family. Okay? So it's no. Answer is no. Okay? And I was just sitting here and I had this false thought. I said, in the future, you're going to come up to me and propose getting a R2-D2 to move the camera around. It's endless. It's such a cool thing to see, zoom in and look at the people's pores. Anyway, we're joking too much. Thank you, everyone. We stop here and do the great transference.